I'm Lauren. I am a former trauma therapist turned content creator, and I wasn't going to make a video today, even though I've fallen behind on my once a week videos. We had family in town over the weekend, and the house is in shambles. We had 5 children and 4 adults, and it was mayhem, and it was fun mayhem. I made a video last about summer being about family, and I would probably have less time to make videos, and it has been true. On Friday, we go on vacation to Texas, and we are going to have a week of family fun again, and I'm tired. But I wanted to make this video today because I sat down to watch some ASMR and maybe do some meditation on the couch, but my space is not clean, and I just drank coffee, and I thought, you know what? I will feel better after I make a video. And the kids are at camp today, which they love their art camp. It's great. It's the only one they've ever liked, so they're doing something right. And I don't want to squander the time. But I've been thinking a lot about, am I a minimalist still? And the answer is yes. And I am not anti-minimalist. I believe in minimalism still, only if it comes from a place of joy and freedom. I think you have to, or one, words don't teach, it's life experience that teaches, right? So I have gone on the roller coaster of minimalism, anti-minimalism, consumerism, maximalism, anti-consumerism. I have been extremely frugal, gone down the extreme frugality, save everything, save 70%, to YOLO, let's live while we can. And the conclusion I have come to is that none of these answers are wrong. None. Zero. But for me personally, the reason I've been on such a roller coaster since 2008, when I discovered Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez, and then following that train into minimalism, frugality, and retire early content, which that book is about retiring early, right? I've been on and off that train of financial literacy and studying minimalism and making sure to optimize every area of my life, to really more identifying with slow living and minimalism. Minimalism has come back to me over and over again, so I cannot consider myself an anti-minimalist. However, my first major in college was interior design. I grew up reading Southern Living, sometimes Architectural Digest if I could get my hands on it at the library, but the love of a space was born into me through my childhood, through my grandmother's houses. We used to go to my grandmother's house on my mom's side, my dad's side, every other weekend. Every weekend, I was at a grandparent's house. Both of my grandmothers had extremely calm, clean spaces that didn't change. Everything was well thought, well taken care of, and there was a respect for things and hobbies and items. This was during a time where there wasn't a bunch of plastic stuff that you could just order on the internet that could show up on your door 2 days later for very cheap. So everything had to be well thought out and well designed. So I have a bit of a cozy cottage core, fantasy core life self that I often buy things for my home for. I just recently bought seatbelt covers that have like little crocheted flowers on them for my car. I have a Prius. I also bought little ceramic toads and geese to cover the screws on the bottom of the toilet. So when you come into the bathroom, there's those guys. A lot of people who are minimalists would say that you cannot have those. They might be right, but I do have them. And currently they are bringing me a lot of joy. The seatbelt cover does serve a function. I live in Hawaii. It's very hot. When I'm sweaty, it's nice to have them. I can take them off and wash them. I like a car seat cover. I am tall, and it always has cut into my neck ever since I was little. The last car that I bought just had them. They came with the car, and I was like, wow, these are really cool. You might not find utility in that. A lot of people would say that is excessive. So I think what I'm trying to say here is that my channel, who I am, at my core, we all contain multitudes, right, of who we could be or who we want to be, or the fantasy version of ourselves or the best version of ourselves. Who am I? Am I just all of this programming from when I grew up? What parts of the things that I have absorbed are really me, and what of that is just marketing? It's up to all of us to decide, and that's where making mistakes in purchases is helpful, because when I know what I don't want, I more clearly know what I do want. Making a mistake is not a bad thing. I currently have credit card debt. Right? That is not a minimalist or financially literate way to be. I have money in savings to cover that debt. However, it's in an REIT. If I tried to cash out the money to cover that payment for the credit card, which was to buy an air conditioning unit that failed at my fourplex in Florida, it would take several months to get the money out. By that point, I can pay off that credit card. So it's a wash anyway. And I just don't feel emotionally like dipping into my retirement savings to cover that credit card payment. People will say, this is a dumb move. And I have listened to this and watched videos on this. I have read all of Dave Ramsey. I follow Dave Ramsey's channels. I watch a lot of people on YouTube. And I didn't have the money in my emergency savings account for the house, for this air conditioning unit. I have been renovating my fourplex for over a year. It cost about $150,000 more than I thought it was going to. My house was built in 1890. I recently went through a separation and divorce, and I didn't have access to my money. This video is not about that. If you have a credit card for emergencies, you are a normal American. It will take me approximately 3 months to pay off that air conditioning unit. I could have applied for financing with the AC company, but I had this emergency credit card for this purpose. I renovated the fourplex. I am renting it out currently. I had to fire a property manager because my Airbnb sat vacant for 2.5 months. I begged her to lower the price, get new pictures. What can we do? Every week, the stress of managing a property from 5,000 miles away, trying to motivate someone who I considered a friend, and nothing coming in. It's been over a year. I have been financially carrying a property with no money coming in on top of renovations. And I got to the end of my money, and then the AC went out. The reason I'm making this video today is that life is not perfect. I have some credit card debt. I'm still a minimalist. I should have set money aside, but I have been pinching. I have been scraping for over a year and in survival mode for practically my whole life. I do feel like I am coming out of it right now. And what is helping me come out of it is occasionally buying a seatbelt cover with some flowers on it for $6.99. I understand that there are videos out there on Whimsy just being another overconsumption trend, cottagecore being another consumption trend. And though intellectually I understand that, and money cannot buy lasting happiness, there are things that we buy just for the joy that they will bring us in the moment, for the month, for the week, for the day. Chocolate bars. Yeah, I noticed lately that a lot of the content I was consuming on all of the Frugality content was helpful, and yet a double-edged sword of guilt and shame and negativity and fear around the economy and what's going on. And the truth is that I have set up my life very well to be semi-retired and retired early. I say semi-retired because real estate is not passive in the least. I've hired a new property manager for both the long-term rentals and the short-term. Short-term started picking up this month. We went from 0 rentals for 3 months to now it's covering its costs and hopefully a little extra. Rented out another one of the long-term units. There's only one left that's sitting empty. So hopefully by the fall, we will have a fully functioning rental in Florida. I got really tired of the narrative that it had to be perfect. My no spend, low spend challenges and days actually do help my nervous system reset around money. We spent a bunch of money over the weekend with the family in town and the kids. We went out to eat, we built memories, and that was well worth the cost. But today, the kids are at camp, and I have needed to go to the grocery store. I need to get a new bathing suit for our trip, and I probably need to grab an extra one for the kiddos. And I just couldn't do it today. I told myself tomorrow, I have Wednesday and Thursday before our trip to go to the grocery store and to go to either the thrift store or Target to buy those items, and they can wait. So while I still believe in all of the amazing creators who make joyful frugality content, and I think there is nothing wrong with frugality, minimalism, financial literacy content if it's made from a place of joy and to seek freedom. And that is the main point of what I want to do on this channel. This channel is about living life on life's terms. It's not about perfection. Yes, I will talk about financial literacy and how I retired early. I will talk about my minimalism journey and my top 10 favorite books on minimalism and frugality. I will talk about my childhood and how I became a trauma therapist and parenting as a single parent. I do have a partner. And navigating divorce and co-parenting and life and living in Oahu. And I want to optimize as much as I can. But I don't want to make optimization and the fear that I'm doing something wrong the focus of my life. I got sober when I was 24 years old. I'm over 19 years sober. And the focus of my life is joy and freedom and making memories with my kids and my partner, and forming deep bonds with my friends and getting healthier. I'm 43 and I'm gonna re-sign up for the gym. I had quit because it wasn't fitting into the budget. Now that the rentals are back up and running, I have a little more legroom and I can still hit my savings goals. This AC unit that went out, it's setting my savings back for 3 months. Instead of being able to save for 3 full years until the balloon payment and my business is fully bought out by my ex-husband, I will have 2.9 years, and I will save up for a down payment for a home for myself here in Hawaii, and hopefully another investment property. If I'm really lucky, a condo in Lake Tahoe, a laundromat somewhere on the West Coast, or potentially building one here if I find the right commercial space. So I'm not giving up. I'm meditating in the morning. I'm figuring out who I really am and what I really want and what brings me joy and how to hopefully bring joy to viewers and to give hope and to tell you that it's all okay and that I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, life can be messy, but it can also be extremely beautiful. And if there's anything I know about the internet, it's full of people who I love and who inspire me every day, and that our stories need to be told. Thank you for being here. Let me know where you're from. I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. And if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing if you're still here, I would really appreciate it. Mahalo.